factor income if you need. So it's not.
150 sailors sealed inside a metal tube 337 feet long. 90 days underwater without seeing sunlight. No escape, no privacy, no way out. But here's what nobody tells you. The hardest part isn't the cramped space or the lack of fresh air. It's the psychological warfare your own mind wages against you when you're trapped 1,000 feet below the surface in complete darkness. This is the brutal reality of life inside a nuclear submarine. Chapter 1. Living in a coffin. Your bed is a rack, that's what they call it. Not a bunk. A rack, because that's exactly what it feels like. A coffin with a curtain. 3 racks stacked on top of each other, each one barely longer than your body. You've got maybe 18 inches of vertical space. Roll over too fast and you'll slam your face into the rack above you. A small cubby next to your head holds everything you own for the next 3 months. On the USS Missouri, 135 sailors shared 94 beds. You read that right. More sailors than beds. Welcome to hot racking. You share your bed with 2 other people in rotating shifts. You climb into a rack that's still warm from the last guy. His sweat is still on the sheets. His smell is still in the pillow. You sleep where he just slept. And in 8 hours, someone else will sleep where you're sleeping now. The boat is never quiet. Pumps running constantly. Fans humming. Air handlers groaning, machinery vibrating through the hull, people moving through berthing at all hours because someone is always going on watch or coming off watch. You learn to sleep through chaos or you don't last. 1/3 of the entire submarine is taken up by the nuclear reactor and propulsion systems. Another massive chunk is consumed by weapons, tanks, cables, and machinery. What's left for 150 human beings to live in? Almost nothing. The officer's wardroom doubles as the medical space. The torpedo room becomes a gym. Every single compartment serves multiple purposes because there simply isn't enough room. Chapter 2. The sensory void. Day and night stop existing. There are no windows, no sunlight, no moon, no stars, just artificial fluorescent lights that stay on 24 hours a day in some spaces and stay off in others. Your body's natural rhythm shatters within the first week. You tell time by what food is being served. Pancakes mean morning. Spaghetti feels like evening. But it's all arbitrary. The boat operates on a 24-hour watch cycle, but your brain has no idea what time it actually is. On a recent deployment, the USS Missouri spent 163 days out of 181 underwater. That's fewer than 20 days where the crew saw the sky. Think about that. 5.5 months of your life and you see daylight for less than 3 weeks total. The air you breathe is recycled, scrubbed of carbon dioxide, filtered of contaminants. Chemically, it's clean, but it's unnaturally dry, flat, dead. Sailors joke that after months of breathing recycled air, fresh air actually stinks the first time they step topside. Your senses start playing tricks on you. Some sailors swear they can smell the ocean through the hull at certain depths. Others hear sounds that aren't there. Your mind fills in the gaps because it's starving for stimulation. This is sensory deprivation at an industrial scale. Chapter 3. The hygiene nightmare. 2 showers for over 100 people in a berthing area. You get 3 minutes, that's it. Water on to get wet, water off to soap up, water on to rinse. If you take longer, you're stealing water from everyone else, and they will let you know. Laundry is even worse. Some submarines have 1 washer and 1 dryer for the entire crew. Access is rationed so tightly that clean clothes become currency. Most sailors wear the same underway coveralls for weeks at a time. You stop noticing the smell after a while. Everyone smells the same anyway. The boat makes its own fresh water from seawater, but it's a limited resource. Every drop is accounted for. Every gallon is precious. You learn to live with being dirty. You learn to live with feeling grimy. You learn to live with a constant film of sweat and oil on your skin. Chapter 4. The isolation. You are completely cut off from the world. No social media, no news, no phone calls, no internet. Email only works when the boat is at the right depth and in the right posture. And even then, it's filtered, delayed, and can be blocked entirely for operational security. One writer described submarine life as practically monastic, but monasteries are quiet. Monasteries are peaceful. Submarines are loud, cramped, and filled with constant stress. You miss births, you miss deaths, you miss weddings, you miss funerals. Your family has emergencies and you don't find out until weeks later. Your friends move on with their lives and you're frozen in time inside a steel tube under the ocean. The psychological screening pipeline exists for a reason. Not everyone can handle this. Claustrophobia will break you. Severe anxiety will break you. If you can't handle being sealed inside a metal container with 150 other people for months at a time with no escape, you don't belong here. And some people don't figure that out until it's too late. Chapter 5. The Constant Threat. Nuclear submarines carry a reactor, high-pressure steam systems, flammable materials, torpedoes, cruise missiles, on ballistic missile submarines, strategic nuclear weapons. A serious reactor casualty can kill the entire crew in minutes. A fire in the wrong compartment can turn the boat into a tomb. Flooding at depth can crush the hull like a soda can. 9 nuclear submarines have sunk worldwide, several with all hands lost. The USS Thresher, the USS Scorpion, Soviet boats that vanished without a trace. Every procedure, every drill, every safety protocol was written in blood. Emergency drills are constant. Fire, flooding, loss of propulsion, reactor scram, abandoned ship. You practice these scenarios until you can respond correctly when you're jerked from deep sleep, half-dressed, disoriented, and terrified. The reactor spaces are tightly controlled. Only cleared and qualified personnel can enter while underway. The engineering watch team lives with the knowledge that their systems run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with minimal tolerance for error. One mistake, and everyone dies. Chapter 6. The Sleep Deprivation. The watch cycle is brutal. 8 hours on watch, 16 hours off. Sounds reasonable until you realize those 16 hours off aren't free time. Maintenance, drills, qualification work, training, cleaning, inspections. The list never ends. Most sailors average 6 hours of sleep or less, and it's never 6 hours straight. It's broken into chunks. 2 hours here, 3 hours there, a quick nap before watch. Your body never fully recovers. You exist in a constant state of exhaustion. Your reaction time slows. Your judgment gets cloudy. You make mistakes, and mistakes on a submarine can be fatal. But you keep going because everyone else is just as tired. Everyone else is just as worn down. And the mission doesn't stop because you're exhausted. Chapter 7. The food. Food is one of the few bright spots. Submarines are known for having some of the best chow in the fleet. Leadership understands that morale runs through the galley. But the galley is the size of a small bathroom. Cooks work in a space where 3 people can barely turn around. They're turning out hundreds of meals per day from food stored under deck plates, in escape trunks, and in every empty void space on the boat. The first few weeks you get fresh food, eggs, milk, vegetables, fruit. It's almost normal. Then the fresh food runs out. Now it's frozen, canned, dehydrated, powdered eggs, shelf-stable milk. Everything tastes like cardboard or chemicals, but you eat it anyway because it's fuel, because you need the calories, because there's nothing else. The cooks do their best, they really do, but there's only so much you can do with limited ingredients in a kitchen the size of a closet, while the boat is rolling in heavy seas and hot oil is sloshing around. Chapter 8. The Boredom and the Brotherhood. When you're not on watch, when you're not doing maintenance, when you're not drilling, you're left with crushing boredom. Movies, video games, a tiny gym corner in the torpedo room. That's it. That's all you have. You watch the same movies over and over. You play the same games until you've memorized every level. You work out in a space barely big enough for a bench press. But here's the thing. You're going through this with 150 other people who understand exactly what you're experiencing. The bond that forms is unlike anything else. You trust these people with your life. They trust you with theirs. You know their stories, their families, their fears, their dreams. The camaraderie is intense. The dark humor is darker than anything you've heard on the surface. You laugh at things that would horrify civilians. Because if you don't laugh, you'll lose your mind. Chapter 9. The Return. When you finally surface after months underwater, the world feels wrong. The sky is too big, the air is too fresh, the sounds are too loud, colours are too bright. Your brain has adapted to the submarine and now reality feels alien. You step onto the pier and your legs don't work right. You've been walking on a moving platform for so long that solid ground feels unstable. Some sailors actually get seasick on land. Your family is there, your friends are there, But you can't explain what you just went through. You can't make them understand. How do you describe living in a steel tube under the ocean for 3 months? How do you explain hot racking? How do you explain the constant noise, the recycled air, the psychological isolation? You can't. So you don't. Chapter 10. The truth. Life inside a nuclear submarine is physically uncomfortable, psychologically taxing, and unforgiving of weakness or complacency. It's cramped, it's loud, it's isolating, it's dangerous, it's exhausting, it's brutal. And yet, thousands of sailors volunteer for this duty. They go through the screening, they earn their dolphins, they deploy again and again. Many say they would do it all over again despite everything. Because the mission matters. Because the bond matters. Because being part of the most lethal, stealthy, and survivable weapon in the naval arsenal means something. Submarine sailors have a saying. There are 2 types of ships, submarines and targets. That's not arrogance, that's identity. That's pride in doing something most people can't even imagine doing. The brutal reality of life inside a nuclear submarine is that it breaks some people. It tests everyone, and it forges the ones who survive it into something different, something harder, something capable of operating in an environment that would destroy most humans. This is the life submariners choose. This is the price they pay. This is the reality they live, and most people will never understand it. We are committed to releasing 3 videos a week. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more AnchorWatch.